Hi, I welcome you all to Faith Army TV. My name is Felix Enim, and today we're going to discuss about so many issues concerning pastors and our country. This is Faith Army TV. Once again, my name is Felix Enim. There are so many issues happening in Ghana, and I hope that some of you are looking for answers. You watch so many programs, you guess you get the answers. But today, if you are watching Faith Army TV right now, you have to listen to this interview to the end. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page, Apostle Walter. That is our YouTube page. I have with me here a great man of God who has been in our nation helping people, breaking chains for a lot of people. And as it is written in the Bible, a voice from God said, "This is my son." So you have to listen to him. I have here in the studio Apostle Dr. Walter Saakwa Mante. He's not just an apostle or a pastor. He is also the president of Ghana Patriotic Pastors and Professional Voice. Apostle, you are welcome.
Thank you.
I have so many questions to ask you today.
All right.
And I can see your zeal. I've been following you on social media, and I've seen some of your posts, and I know how you want to fight against corruption in a certain way. Now, there are so many issues happening in Ghana. For instance, the Parliament of Ghana trying to regulate churches. I want to know from you, from your point of view, is it really right for a body like the Parliament or the government of Ghana to regulate churches?
I think that the government has a sole responsibility of ensuring the safetyness of its citizens. So there's absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, this question comes into play, especially when people have the view that there's freedom of religion.
So, Apostle, I want to ask you this question.
Okay.
What do you think the government should do in this act of monitoring the churches?
I think that you asked a very beautiful question. The approach, like I said, is what's the most important thing. And so the best thing they should do, because you see, Parliament can monitor the church. The monitoring of the churches should be given to the churches. Indeed, so that the bodies, I think that the bodies, like the recognized bodies, the Christian Council, the National Association of Charismatic Churches, the Council of Pentecostal Churches, all the bodies that are recognized should, be the key people to take the lead in terms of monitoring the churches. Because once they take the lead, it means that all the churches will fall under one umbrella and be part of any of these pastoral bodies. So it means that I would expect government to say something for instance like this: all churches before they register must belong to a body.
Okay.
And therefore the bodies must have a monitoring strategy to be able to ensure that we don't have the excesses we have. Christian Council will monitor its members. If you look at the system very carefully, you can never find a pastor who is misbehaving, who belongs to any of these recognized bodies. They are monitored, they are regulated very effectively. But if Parliament comes to say, I want to monitor the whole thing, we have Buddhists in Parliament, we have fetish priests in Parliament, we have people of traditional religion, we have atheists in Parliament, and you cannot ask them to monitor the church. So the bodies should be empowered. It will have to pass a bill. We should look at the bodies, and I think that will really help us. So once we do that, it's going to give us a certain level of independence, but also the work will be done effectively. Because these are recognizable bodies. They know what they're about. They know how to set rules and regulations. Just in case they have their rules and regulations, and just in case anybody, falters or flouts the laws. Now what we are going to do is discipline them, and that's going to be fine. So the Parliament should look at it, but they should look at it from the perspective of giving the power to the bodies. And let me say this caution, because once we allow the bodies, what I think is that people should not be allowed to open more bodies. Because then somebody will say, okay, I'm going to open another body because I believe that that will be my body to deal with, and you're going to still have a group of charlatans, and to make the situation worse. All the bodies that we have now should remain as such, and nobody should form another body. If you belong to a body, just belong to these recognized bodies, and that's simple. The law should come, a statement should be made, another thing that will help. And they should be able to form a committee within their bodies and other key members of the church as well, the charismatic bodies, to also come together and brainstorm on this. And we are only giving we can only give a direction. But once these bodies are made up of these key people, I think that it will really help a great deal.
Okay. Now, recently, a member of parliament raised a concern in parliament. The name of Honorable Sam George.
Okay.
And I want us to talk about what he said.
I think if I recall, I listened to Sam George on 3FM one early in the morning when he was speaking, and he said a similar opinion that I'm talking about. He's of the opinion that Parliament can't regulate the churches directly, and that you should give it to the body. So I agree with him very perfectly. So, and what I was impressed about him was the fact that he had so much command over the Bible. He expressed himself well, he knew what it was. And he said that he was actually charismatic. Okay. And there was another issue that he raised. He said, indeed, he was a charismatic. There was another issue he raised that I thought was beautiful. He said that during the course of Parliament, they also did mention that people actually don't come, to leave their workplaces and go to church during weekdays. For that one, we don't have a scientific model to measure it. We can only speculate that, well, some people might be working in government, but they're coming to church. You come to shop. But he said that there were entrepreneurs that have their business that are working. And people have conferences. He gave an example of ICGC, that if they have a conference, then people will take a leave and join the conference in the mornings. And he mentioned of also word miracle. Indeed, that for me was a very good answer I gave. I agree with him perfectly. Because we have three dimensions of people: entrepreneurs who come to church in the mornings, which is not wrong. And then we also have people who take leave for conferences, they come on conferences. And also, so they are not in any way actually defying the law. There's no law they are defying. In any case, you have freedom of religion. What we need to do is the bodies must be able to take charge and educate the pastors where the need arises, and I think that's going to help.
Now, we have so many government which has come and some have gone. Now, I think this is the only government who is really, really emphasizing on monitoring the churches. Do you think that it is as a result of some of the, things, some of the, profit, or is it as a result of the influx of profit or fake profit in the system? Do you think that is the cause?
Yeah, I think so. Everybody has come to do something. If you recall, Rawlings at the point in time wanted to ask the church to pay taxes. Archbishops really stood in, and then this happened. Now we even still have something about taxes. But currently we have, like you said, we have too many false prophets. I don't want to judge anybody, but let me put it this way: we have questionable lifestyles from a lot of so-called prophets. And some people call them charlatans, and so it raises a lot of eyebrows. As much as religion is very powerful, we also have to understand that there's a human in right dimension of the church, where you can't say that I'm going to flout all the laws, human rights laws. So there are too many excesses, and it doesn't really help. In those days, you don't have those things. And so it's calling for monitoring, because there's abuse of authority, abuse of leadership authority. And I think that you rightly said the influx of false prophets. Too many weird things are happening indeed. And that could account for the reason why mention has been made in Parliament. But every government has tried to do one way or the other.
Let me ask you, when we say a false prophet, who is a false prophet?
The thing is this: it takes a prophet to identify a false prophet. And so you have to be a true prophet to identify. And you also take the spirit of discernment to identify a false prophet. Because by their fruits you shall know them. But let's go to the book of 1 Timothy 3. It gives a certain preamble about who a prophet or a pastor, so let me put it, a bishop is. 1 Timothy chapter 3. Okay. The thing about the word bishop actually is very interesting. It means a caretaker, an overseer.
Okay.
So an overseer of a sheep is one that must be blameless. It's one that must be one that has one wife, must not be drinking alcohol. And so if you go through the scriptures, some of the things have been outlined. But the Bible warned in 2 Peter about 2, there about concerning false prophets and false Jesus. And the other thing is also this, that their fruit, by their fruit you shall know them. Now, you see, every pastor is a follower of Jesus. If Jesus is loving people and taking care of them and not destroying them, and Jesus is humble. Let's look through the scripture, Philippians 2 verse 5. Also that this is Jesus. Jesus was humble, made himself of no repute, came to serve, and was obedient unto death. Now, when you see pride, then that's not the character of Jesus. And some of these things can help you to identify who a false prophet is. So by their fruit, you shall know them. And so a prophet must be a follower of Jesus, and so to speak, and that's it. If you do something different from Jesus, you don't have the nature of Jesus, then there's a problem. And so, but there are too many, things that come up, and you wonder, would Jesus do this? Would Jesus, for instance, sleep with somebody in the open on TV? It happened. Would Jesus brag about what he has? Amen. Jesus will not do that. Jesus is love. Jesus gives. Jesus will not kill people. There are some false prophets that even kill for money ritual. In fact, there are some prophets that have been using water from dead bodies to use as holy water and giving people to drink. That's demonic. You know what I mean? So we have a lot of fetish spirits in suits, and other people will call them church owners and not pastors. I don't want to judge here. I'm only making an assertion. I pray that all of us will come to the saving knowledge of the Lord Jesus.
All right, so you are still watching Faith Army TV, and my name is Felix Enim, and I'm here with Apostle Dr. Walter Saakwa Mante. He is the General Overseer of Faith Army Chapel International, and also the President of Ghana Patriotic Pastors and Professional Voice. And I know you are enjoying the conversation. There are so many things unfolding here. And you can subscribe to our YouTube page, which is Apostle Walter on YouTube, and also our blogspot.com, Faith Army News. You can follow us on blogspot.com. The name is Faith Army News, and also on Facebook at Apostle Walter Mante. Now we are discussing who a fake prophet is, and we've learned a lot about who a fake prophet. But I want to ask you, Apostle, should pastors pay tax?
The pastors should pay their tithe, not tax. But the church should, and the pastor should involve in a lot of corporate social responsibilities.
Let me ask you, what is the difference between tax and tithe?
Taxes goes to government, but tithe goes to God. And therefore, for this reason, your spiritual father, if you're a pastor, you understand, that we should pay taxes as much as the pastor is involved in the business entity. I think that has been established. I was part of the meeting at the office of the president when this discussion was going on. Now, pastors should pay taxes when they engage in business, like for your taxes for your books, taxes if you have a company as a pastor, you have to pay tax. But then the money accrued from the church should not be paid tithe on. Because don't forget that those that get all the money have paid their tithe, taxes already, and so you're double taxing them. That's a problem. Number two, that according to scriptures, the tithe must be paid to the Lord. Bring all the tithe to the stores. There'll be enough meat in my house now. So tithe should be paid to, the spiritual fathers, so to speak, and then to the church. But taxes must be paid on business entities of pastors and prophets. I believe that has been established, so there's no problem with that. And the other reason why we get worried about this, because there are some churches that are engaged in a lot of corporate social responsibility. They take care of the aged, they take care of the weak, the vulnerable, the poor. For instance, a few days ago, we're engaged in a major project. We went to Malata, the street children, we fed a lot of them. We gave them the word. This is corporate social responsibility. And if the church engages a lot in corporate social responsibility, nobody will talk. But see, the church in itself has set their responsibility, and hence we don't see the relevance thereof of what the church is doing. So it raises a lot of eyebrows. There are people also that some of this were prompted by the fact that one pastor will say, "I'm importing 13 cars."
Okay.
You go to his house, that's about 13 cars. And what are you doing with 13 cars? It's a blessing. But you see, the blessing is not for you to show, it's for you to be a blessing to somebody. I mean, people do, they are a blessing. But if all we do is showcase and we don't really connect more to the blessing, it doesn't really help. And so that is going to stir up a lot of that, stir up a lot of. And however, I want to admit that there are also pastors that the Lord has blessed, but they don't show the blessing in the open. They have a certain sense of attitude where they don't do that. They don't show all the things they have in the open, but they are engaged in a lot of corporate social responsibilities. They have one car, one simple car they use. They spend a lot of money on the poor. They provide shelter for the poor, the widows. They do a lot of hard work, but you don't see them showcasing some of this. And there are some also that also need help from government. Let me tell you this. Do you know that in the UK, the charity is giving money? It means that they give them tax remittances. You understand? They give them tax. They don't pay tax. And you do that, they destroy your nation. So as for the issue of tax, the pastors with businesses, the business entity can pay tax, still remains a tax. Okay, but they should pay their tithes. Okay. And they should involve in a lot of corporate social responsibility. That will help a great deal.
Okay. Now, Apostle, I want to ask you. We have the Christian Council of Ghana, and we have other bodies who are in Ghana. Do you think they are so quiet and they can't regulate this, or they can't monitor the churches? That's why government has to come in.
I think that the dimension with which this has gone, I don't think that they have the capacity. They need a certain bill to be able to empower them to be able to do what they have to do. But I must say that they are also too quiet. A lot of issues that come with peace, and a lot of things that go on, you see individual pastors reacting. You don't see the bodies reacting and putting the pastoral system into order. Because the Christian Council sees a lot of things happening. The Christian Council can stamp on its feet and say that this is wrong, that is wrong, and it is not part of Christian principles for us to do that. All the bodies therefore must follow. You see, the problem with the church is that we are so disunited. And I don't know why. I mean, the same Jesus, but there's no sense of unity. Everybody talks about what I have done, my church, I have the biggest church. Biggest church when you can't get together and win souls. And everybody has, have this mandate. For me, I really don't care about mandate. What I care about is somebody must go out the world, the commission. Let's forget about it. I'm called to raise leaders. I'm called to do this. I'm called. There's only one call, which is this. Go out into the world, preach the gospel, get people born again, get them saved, and bring them to the Lord. That's all. What is this called? Blah, 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 blah. I've seen a lot of that. So it's because of the different mandates and the things we look at, and people want to be like themselves. Actually, they have a lot of pastors who want people, you want to dress like, the pastor, want to walk like the pastor. What about walking like Jesus? The pastor can have influence. But the focal point is Jesus. So if the church is able to focus on Jesus and focus on the greatest commission, go out into the world and preach the gospel, without laying emphasis on the different mandates of the church, we are going to have a certain sense of one focus, one vision, one mindset. You understand? Yeah. That is why in the days of the Tower of Babel, whatever they imagined they were able to do, because they were one. The church can become one. Remember, the church is about 70% of the entire population of Ghana is the church, it's Christians. So what are we doing? We have so much to do. We have so much impact to do. To it. So I think that the bodies are too quiet. Maybe there's a revelation of the bodies. There's the need for them to become proactive. There are people who they are not performing. Take them off and get the job. That get proper PROs. It's a professional team. Give them a voice. That is why GPPPV, we want to become a voice that will speak to the issues and not become partisan. We believe in a non-partisan approach to everything. Because once you start talking, our system is so polarized that they will brand you as NDC and MPP. That kills everything.
Now let me come to that one. Do you think a man of God should be involved in politics?
There's nothing wrong with a man of God involving in politics. But the kind of politics that is truth. But also you shall know the truth, and the truth shall... You see, you can't become a politician as a man of God and still disobey God. If you are a politician, you shall be a genuine politician. Don't speak lies and speak about people and prophesy wrongly because of stomach. That's the problem we have. So the problem is not that a man of God must not do politics. It's the know-how of the nature, the know-how of the man of God and how he's doing his politics. If the man of God is also doing dirty politics, then we have a problem. The problem, because look at Jesus. After Jesus died, who took his body? Politician. Jesus had friends who were politicians. Amen. David was a king, a politician. Look through the Bible. He's a politician. King David was a politician. Solomon was a politician. They were all politicians. Amen. So I feel that there's nothing wrong with the pastor going to politics. Absolutely nothing wrong with the pastor going to politics.
Now we have some pastors, accepting some appointment from government. If I may ask, since a pastor is not allowed to, or maybe doing politics is not a bad thing, such a man who accepts an appointment from a government, can we clearly say that he's doing politics?
Obviously, that it's not wrong. If I accept an appointment from government, it doesn't mean I'm partisan. Once I'm doing my work well, because I'm there to serve my nation, purely that. I believe that we should be non-partisan in our approach, because partisanship is very stomach directional, and partisanship can be demonic and very destructive. One of the things, our system is so polarized that you are sharing a very humble opinion, and they call you NDC. Another point, they call you MPP. For me, I don't believe in that. Okay. I believe in the truth. Okay. Jesus said, you know the truth, and the truth will set you free.
Okay. All right. So that is Apostle Dr. Walter Saakwa Mante for you, the General Overseer of Christ at Faith Army Chapel International. Apostle, let me ask you this quick question. Do you think that the lack of some men of God preaching the truth has caused a lot of corruption in our society?
Absolutely. You see, I studied very carefully especially the charismatic movement. There was a terrible influx of the prophetic message we didn't do well, and the message was not carved well. And you see, when the message is wrongly carved and wrongly presented, people pick it up and become the norm. So there was too much preaching of prosperity, and indeed, it's not wrong to preach prosperity, but this is the dimension you come from. If I want to preach prosperity, I want to preach prosperity based on obedience. I want to tell you that if you have integrity, God will bless you. I want to tell you that if you obey God, God will keep you in the garden. You hear me? I want to tell you it's God that blesses. I want to tell you that if you pray, God will inspire you. I want to teach you biblical principles to walk into prosperity. I want to talk about the oil for wealth and how to tap into it. I want to talk about entrepreneurship and how to become a proper entrepreneur. But I'll preach from the perspective of obedience to God, but not from another perspective that will kill holiness. And so over the years, the prosperity message has been taught wrongly, in my humble opinion. And that became the norm and became, the societal approach to prosperity. Every church, and Ghanaians are what we call the copycats. One person preach prosperity, he breaks through. Then you go set up a church, and you don't understand where God is taking you. You hear me? So what you need to do is we need to be able to define our prosperity message very well and not separate it from holiness. Because if the church can preach more about holiness and corruption, these 70,000 people, so 70% of the entire population that belongs to Christianity, we are going to have corruption cease in society. I'm telling you, if the church can help to fight corruption, I believe nobody will come back and say, let's regulate and monitor the church, because our impact will be so felt. We are speaking about it. We are telling them that if you steal money from the coffers, you die and go to hell. That's the message. And the pastor's mouth are shut in some cases. And in some cases, the message is wrongly presented. So I think that is a major problem to the church. And we need to look at it very critically.
Now, if you go to some organizations, since 70% of the population of Ghana are Christians, do you think that, because I believe that most of the organizations has Christians in there, do you think the church is failing the society?
I think the church is not doing too well. It's done well to some extent. I wouldn't say it's failing the society. I would say the church can do better.
Okay.
Because the church has done a lot of good, especially when politicians have failed the Ghanaians, and they want to go to church. Otherwise, people will wake up and take guns and start shooting. Otherwise, society will become a chaotic place. Because people are wounded, people are angry about what goes on in governments, and sometimes they get so hurt. So the church has played its role over the years. From the Third, Fourth Republic, we've seen the church play a very key role, the pastors play a key role. But I think we can do better. What we can ask the church to do is up their game in order that we get to where we're supposed to get to. We have what it takes, but we have not harnessed our resources very adequately. And so this bill will do us a lot of good if we can strengthen the bodies. Parliament can strengthen the bodies and give them some powers to do some things. In fact, for instance, a pastor behaves, a committee is set up, and then we close down the church. There'll be order. There'll be order.
Wow. There will be order. This is Faith Army TV, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page, Apostle Walter, and also on Facebook at Apostle Walter Mante, and also FACIGH on Facebook. You can WhatsApp us on 0244118888, and also follow us on bigspot.com, Faith Army News. As I said, I'm here with Apostle Dr. Walter Saakwa Mante, the General Overseer of Faith Army Chapel International, and also the President of Ghana Patriotic Pastors and Professional Voice. And we are discussing the parliamentary decision to monitor churches in Ghana. Okay, so Apostle, I think I should ask you this last but one question. As a man of God, sometimes when you are flipping through your televisions and you see what is happening with some of the things the prophets are doing, if you are allowed to, as a president of the Ghana Patriotic Pastors and Professional Voice, what are the things that your organization has planned to also bring on board to regulate such people?
You see, we don't have the mandate to regulate, but that's what we are doing. We can only have a voice.
Okay.
We can only talk about it, and that's why we are talking about it now. We feel that we need to educate the public, educate people. The Bible says in Hosea 4:6, for lack of knowledge, my people perish. So we are looking at the educative aspect of it. And if the pastors will teach their members very well, they don't just go around looking for prophets who are false. The teaching at the pulpit should be good. They should teach about holiness. They should be able to teach them about how to discern. You cannot afford this. People will move. There will be an influx because you see, people have needs. And let me say this. The prophetic office or the apostolic office has its own, uniqueness. For instance, the Lord can ask you to tear somebody's clothes into two. That is His miracle. And then I went to a meeting where I tore somebody's clothes into two, and the Lord said, "Do it." He spoke a message. I did it. How can I tear somebody's shoe into two? That's unacceptable. But the Lord asked me to do it. It's a deep prophetic act that the Lord asked me to do, and I did that. You understand what I'm saying? But however, there are other ones that raises eyebrows that will pose human rights questions, and that's where we have to be able to monitor what goes on, because Jesus, they don't flout human rights laws. Look through the Bible. He never flouted any human rights law. He never gave them dignity to drink and tell them that they were going to be healed. You understand? So the laws are very clear. And if a pastor did that, you have to put him before the Sanhedrin, put it before the court and deal with it. Leave it for the councils. Let them deal with it accordingly. And I think that's, so I'm very happy we are having this conversation at this time. And what we can do as a body is just talk about it and influence people to push it from here and there. That's what we can do, because we don't have the mandate. Nobody has, we are just a voice. Yeah.
So you have mentioned of human rights, and we've been seeing on television a pregnant woman will be stepped on by a pastor. I mean, somebody will be given poisonous, substance to take in as a form of a miracle. With these things, the human rights organization, can they take these pastors on?
You see, that's why in discussing the monitoring of the pastors, the bodies must actually go deeper into this. They have to be able to go deeper into this, and through the human rights laws, address some of these issues. I think that's what they have to look out for. If we have to do this, then the bodies, that's my humble advice. If they bring me on board, I'll be able to use my knowledge to be able to bring to bear some of these things. Because we have a branch of our church in the UK, and I read some of the laws of the charity and some of the things that you can't do, and I understand to some extent, because if you don't understand, ignorance of the law is no excuse. You can fall victim. So indeed, I think that we need to look at it, and we need to grow from where we are in terms of our religious activities to the next level. Religion is said to be the opium of the people, but we shouldn't also underestimate the negative impact it can have on society, especially when it's done wrongly.
Thank you so much, Apostle. I think we've had an...
Yeah, but let me just say this. For instance, you have fetish priests who kill people and use them for rituals. I think that we don't only look at what the pastors are doing. If the government have to look at it, let's look at the activities of fetish priests as well. Then we can curtail the problem. Sorry for interfering, but I thought I should.
All right. So thank you so much, Apostle.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure.
You've been able to help us to understand certain things confronting our nation. I want to ask you my personal question.
Okay.
And I think viewers will also would like to ask you the same question. The focus of the church. What is the focus of a church? What should be the focus of the church? The focus
of the church, like I said, the commission. Go out into the world and preach the gospel. Feed them love. That's it.
So has the church lost the focus?
I don't want to make a blunt statement.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Apostle.
It's a blessing.
Thank you for coming on this show. In case you have any final words for our viewers.
What I'm going to say
you can look to the camera and then you tell
what I'm going to say to my viewers is to be discerning enough. The Bible said about their fruit, you shall know them. And one of the criteria I use to measure sound prophets is the anointing that backs them. Number two, the content they have, the word of God. If you come with a lot of giftings without content, I have a problem. Because you see, the giftings and the callings of God are without repentance. But the Lord can take the anointing from you. Anointing can be taken away from you. So people can have giftings and still exhibit the giftings, but they don't have anointing. You understand? So I'm able to identify the giftings to be relevant or true, especially when I see that you are preaching good word, you carry some anointing, you have some decency, then I believe in your giftings. Okay? And by their fruits, you shall know them. That's my humble advice. And I want to urge all the pastors to focus on Christ. Let's be Christ-centered. And I thank God for all your love. Those who are doing all the hard work, all the good things, I want to applaud all the pastors that are behind the scene and praying and doing the right things. And those who have challenges, and some of them have really real challenges that nobody's caring about. It's my prayer that all the pastors also, God will find a way of taking care of all of them. And for all the members that have been messed up by anybody, I pray that you forgive them. It's a journey. We are going to it. We'll get it. I pray the Lord will restore you, heal you, and whatever you have lost, the Lord will restore you. For those of us who have been hurt by any pastor, anybody, any church member, I pray that you forgive. And let's have a certain wonderful relationship amongst ourselves. Thank you very much for doing the watching. God bless you so much.
Thank you, Apostle. Thank you so much. So that was Apostle Dr. Walter Saakwa Mante for you, the General Overseer of Faith Army Chapel International, and also the President of Ghana Patriotic Pastors and Professional Voice. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page, Apostle Walter, and also follow us on blogspot.com at Faith Army News, and also Facebook at Apostle Walter Mante, and WhatsApp us on 0244118888. My name is Felix Enim. Do the watching every day, and don't forget to follow our page. Tell a friend to tell another friend to like our page at Apostle Walter Mante. God bless you. See you next time.